Good evening, friends. This is Dr. Preeti Agarwal from Eye Care Clinic, Varanasi. Today I am going to talk about mucormycosis, the dreaded black fungus that you listen. Black getting its name from the ischemia that we see. I hope first all of you are safe and healthy and much away from the dreaded coronavirus. Panic has been created now because of the mucormycosis that even some governments are planning to call it an epidemic. Actually, it is because a large number of cases are being reported every now and then, and every day we are seeing patients who are much in panicky because they're all scared of not much scared of coronavirus now, but more scared of mucormycosis at present. We'll first understand what exactly is mucormycosis. Why are we so worried about it? It's basically a fungus, and a fungus that we see everywhere, that is ubiquitous, present everywhere around us. It was present initially also, it is present today also, and it is going to be there in future too. It's not going to go anywhere from here. It was always existent, it was coexisting with us, but the problem was that our immunity was good enough to fight it back. So it was not able to create a problem with us or create an infection with us. But now, due to coronavirus infection, because I think at present nearly all families, most of the families I should say, have been infected knowingly or unknowingly. Might be there are families who are not aware that they had been infected, and anywhere where coronavirus has affected, it has created a sudden drastic dip in immunity. When your immunity dips, these opportunistic infections, which are all coexistent everywhere, they suddenly grow up, become the demons, and attack you. That is one reason. We used to see initially also we used to see cases, but there was not much, not in a number that we are seeing, just in a number that we are seeing right now. Initially they were less. We used to see one case in 3 months, 4 months. Rarely we used to see these cases. But now due to coronavirus pandemic, we are seeing them in very large numbers. But here I want to tell you, you don't need to panic. You don't need to get scared. Everyone is not going to have coronavirus. There are few predisposing factors which lead to this disease. If you ask me what is it, you normally see if we keep bread outside, we see that fungus, something velvety growing on top, that black. That is mucor, that is fungus. Right? If you keep the shoes on a rainy day, you keep them and you keep it for 2-3 days in that humid weather, we see some velvety covering over it, that is fungus. So fungus is present, already present. So now what we have to do is, since our immunity is very down, since the steroid that is given in the treatment of the coronavirus, that leads to increased level of sugars, or else people who are already diabetic, who have already an increased level of sugars, and to top on it, the increased ferritin levels in the coronavirus disease, they all add on, they give food to the mucormycosis, and suddenly it starts multiplying and growing up and attacking you. I was reading recently today itself that there is one case of first ever case of reported mucormycosis in the intestine. Today only that news came. So it was not there initially, but now it is present. So first we'll understand who all are predisposed, who all are susceptible for this. The susceptibility criteria goes that if your immunity is low, if you're not exercising regularly, if you're having a high level of sugar, if you're taking steroids if you're using steroids, an indiscriminate use of steroids is there. If you take steroids as your doctors suggest, so you can limit the use of steroids. Or if a person is very sick, he's admitted in the hospital, he's on oxygen, so the water through which the oxygen passes, mucor can be there also, that can lead to it. And the commonest things that some patients we are seeing who have not been to the hospital, who have not been on oxygen, who have not been on steroids also, having mucormycosis, because the N95 mask that we are normally using, we initially used to use for 3-4 days, but now since due to the humid weather, if we sneeze in it or when we talk, our saliva comes out, the undersurface of the mask that is near to the mouth, it gets humid, a little moisture is there, and that moisture along with the oxygen causes the spores to multiply, and when we breathe they go inside us and cause the infection. So those masks, and plus we're taking inhalations every day, everyone is taking inhalations for the prevention. If you don't change the water regularly of the inhaler, then this can also lead to the development of sports, which is very detrimental. So these are the predisposing factors where you have to take care. Now we see what are the presenting signs or what the earliest signs that you can diagnose it yourself and approach a doctor as soon as possible. First of all, don't panic, but there is a balance between it. You need to know the signs too. For those signs, first they normally presents to the eye or the sinuses. They could be a stuffy nose, a dry crusted nose, something black coming out of the the nasal discharge that comes out. You see something black on it, or you see a red eye, a painful eye, swelling in the eyes or the undersurface, or you see the cheek being swollen, redness is there, or you feel a pain in the movement of the eyeballs, or you see that your eyes are not moving completely. The movement is limited or restricted, or there's an upper eye swelling or a drooping of the upper eyelid. These are all early signs where you can catch it, or you're having a headache. These are all early signs where you have to catch it and approach your doctor. You have to approach the ophthalmologist or the ENT surgeon or the physician as soon as possible. Okay, and then if you see something black, it's pretty late, but still, if you see something black or you're feeling dizzy or something, then you need to go it. Now we come on to how we diagnose it. We diagnose it by an MRI, which is the commonest now diagnosing criteria is an MRI, but it's not a normal MRI. It is a gadolinium enhanced MRI of the orbit, of the sinuses and of the brain to see what is the extension, because it normally starts from the sinuses. It occupies the turbinate area and the sinuses area. It enters the orbit, it breaks the wall of the orbit, it can enter the orbital wall from behind. The orbit is the cavity where the eye is there present, and the optic nerve, it goes on to communicates with the brain. So it approaches the apex of the orbit. There it can lead to a diminution of vision if it affects the optic nerve, of movement restriction because of the affecting of the muscles, and it can, from there it can reach the brain. Now the point lies that where you diagnose it. If you diagnose it early, it is very, very curable with the normal drugs, the injections that can be given. Amphotericin B is a wonder drug there, though it is available at present with difficulty, but it's going to be available, as the government said, easily. So if it is limited, it is very well controlled with the medication. But if you diagnose it late, because once it reaches the brain, then the fatality rate rises. There it is really difficult. So these are signs that you should be aware of. Now, what do we do? What precautions can we take initially? You can keep changing the masks very frequently. They are very reasonable. Then what you can do, you can change the water of your the inhalations that inhaler from where you're taking the water. That water can be changed regularly. Thirdly, if you have to keep up your immunity, so you have to have a balanced diet and some form of exercise has to be done regularly. Fourthly, indiscriminate use of steroids. Don't take steroids on your own if you're having corona. Steroids are not advocated everywhere. It is only under the guidance of a doctor, a specialist. When he tells you to take steroids, then you have to take steroids. And if you're admitted, if you're admitted in a hospital, if the oxygen is coming through methylene blue, some studies say that we can prevent or we can reduce the existence of it. So with all these things and with this knowledge that brushes you up, I think you are much aware now what all signs to be taken care of and when to approach a doctor. Kindly reach your doctor as soon as possible. If you're having it, God forbid, I really wish you all that you people never face it. Keep checking your sugar levels. They should be well in control. Even if you're diabetic, or else at times when you take steroids, the sugar levels it really runs very high. It goes to the level of 400s and 500s too. So you have to keep checking your sugars regularly. Keep getting your blood test regularly so that you are all comfortable. Have a happy and a safe, duration. I really wish you all good health. Stay safe, stay home. Bye. For teleconsultations, you can contact on 9455313377. And kindly like, share and subscribe if you like this video. And till we update more videos. Take care, stay safe.